is one of my paintings. I'm an artist among several disciplines. And she was asking about this in the background. It's to change the consciousness from thinking about 2012, the end of the world, the Hollywood doom and gloom thing, to seeing how we are evolving. What is happening next? That's what that is about. Okay, let's say 2012 is the beginning of something. What something is it that you want it to be? And where do you want it to go? Let's say there's a 10-year thing happening after 2012. What's that going to look like, right? So I want to thank you, Mark, for giving me the opportunity to share with the Mensa group. And I come from a very different, multidisciplinary background. There is no box, there's no definition for what I do, and there are millions of individuals like me around the world. This is a blending of disciplines: engineering, science, math, art, literature, creation at all levels into one holistic approach to humanity. That's what it is. So there is no college that teaches what I do. We're born this way. You might have heard children called indigo children, crystal children, rainbow children. We are in touch with the information inside our DNA, and we talk to our Creator directly and get information that way. And then I know everything about science and math and physics that I need to know to create what I need to create. How's that for crazy? Okay? So give us 2 clicks, Mark. I'm going to walk you through a little bit of language, and it's a process. And each theme represents an entire discipline or approach to understanding who we are, what are we doing on this planet, where are we going. So before I can even begin to tell you about green jobs, the future, what's happening now, this is the first step in what's happening in humanity right now. We are going through an evolutionary shift that has never happened in history in this way. This first aspect of awakening is opening your eyes, and I'm sure each one of you have noticed that something is different. Something is very different than 10, 20 years ago, right? And it's hard to put our finger on it, but that awakening that is occurring is opening the eyes of individuals at all levels: corporate, political, industrial, scientific, religious. There's this movement of people who are involved in changing humanity that is independent of any religion, independent of any kind of education. It's independent of any system, race, class, money. And it is the biggest thing that is happening on the planet right now. How's that for awakening? So whatever is going to happen in this near future, including in this year, it is using the individuals who are opening their eyes. And I'm sure each one of you has experienced a little bit of awakening. You're thinking, okay, I have my everyday life, the physical reality that I understand, but there's this other spiritually touchy, woo-woo thing going on, and we don't know what it is. Do other people experience that? Right. And it has nothing to do with age, because kids are experiencing as much as seniors. It has nothing to do with that. Next slide, please. 2 clicks. So the first step in this awakening, this is a language that we want to teach children from the very beginning, so by the time you get to the university level, and as a professional, you know this language. The first part of that is to detoxify your mind and your body and your energy and your heart. Imagine if we taught kids that they are infinite sons of energy that have always been here and will always be here, and we're having this human physical experience. So we need to learn to work with that paradigm, which is very different. We are more than this body. How do we connect to the energy that created us, independent of just making it a religious issue, making it about science? How do we get away from that separatism, that isolation of, well, I'm this religion, I'm this race, I'm going to be an engineer? Why put a box around it? Part of this awakening that's occurring is that discovery of who we are. What is our true human history? What is the truth behind knowledge, behind energy, behind food, behind clean water? Why have we not been told the truth? I am part of that movement that is digging for the truth. That also becomes the discovery of who I am, what I am. More than just this person having this experience physically here. clicks, please. So once you wake up, the second step is to activate whatever it is that I am. Why am I here on earth? Why am I here sharing and giving? Why are we having this experience of a difficult economy, a difficult energy? Does everybody feel like we're getting put to this grinder right now? We're going through the eye of the needle. That's what's occurring to humanity. So before I get into talking about solar panels and what we can do with wind energy, as an extension of what Marcus is doing some beautiful work in, we need to change the language. And the scientists and the engineers and the professionals that created the problems that we're having today are not going to be part of the solution unless they shift. They activate their spirituality, their humanity, and their oneness. We will never understand the unification theory of everything unless we come from love and compassion and come from consciousness tied to our Creator. That is the truth. Scientists will not understand how to make us healthy. Engineers will not understand how to work with the earth to create free energy that is abundant for everybody unless we come from that love, compassion, humanity that respects everything. What do you guys feel about that? I don't care if you are a 3-time Nobel Prize winning physicist. If you are not a conscious individual, it's going to be tough, because what's happening in this activation right now is that the old paradigms are just collapsing. They're disintegrating. The political system is falling apart. The economic system is falling apart. The educational system is falling apart. Nature is pushing us in that direction. Does everybody feel that? It doesn't matter what you do. If you're coming from that old paradigm, the old ways of thinking, which serve their purpose. War has a deep purpose. Suffering has a very deep purpose. This technology that we recognize right now as external, our cars, our homes, our oil, that had a purpose. But now that purpose has shifted. Next slide, please. This shift begins with our intention. What do you want the world to be like? This is when I teach students at UCSD, when I talk to elementary school kids, I do art lessons, it all comes about to what is your intention? What do you want to see happen in the world? And when we ask that as teachers, as educators, as mentors, set no boundaries on the answer and set no boundaries on the question. Each one of you here already knows that kids, when they come into this world, are the ultimate spiritual, divine creator in 2 legs. Yes or no? All they know is how to do is play, love each other, get along. Oh, you're my new best friend. You ever hear kids talk like that? They come from the heart. We don't teach that at schools. We beat the heart out of children. We beat the emotion, the divinity, the creativity out of children. And then from then on, you wonder why they graduate from college. They're having problems with drugs. They don't understand how to create technology that is humble, that is compassionate. They go right for the jobs that create war machines. They go right for they just want to be a lawyer or a doctor or a nurse. They don't stop to think that there's an intention that is unfolding right now. How does this language sound to you, by the way? Interesting. And I have the background. I have the degrees. I'm a PhD. I'm an engineer, scientist. I'm a computer scientist, physicist, cosmologist, chemistry. I've studied them all. Why would I come from this point of view? I've worked for the big companies. I've worked for aerospace. I've worked for the top software companies in the world, Microsoft. I've worked for GE Aerospace. I've been there. Why would I go to this other spiritually woo side? Huh? Next slide, please. The formula here that we're getting in touch with is that whatever you are, whatever we are, this energy that we've manifested, you connect that with consciousness, which is a universal energy, you might think. That's what makes up physical reality. That's the first shift that science has to wrap its mind around and teach that. We have that super collider in Geneva, in Switzerland. They're playing there with the energy that makes the universe. They're opening up dimensions. They're seeing that whatever it is that makes this is pure energy, and it's multidimensional, and it's built-in intelligence in there. So if we're going to get into the argument of creation or evolution, we have to get in touch with the idea that all of this is being created right here and right here. I want to teach that to kids from the very beginning. And then whatever it is that we teach kids, if we're going to teach humanities or teach science or engineering, it has to harmonize with their everyday life. You can't teach one thing in the classroom and in the textbooks, and then they go out to their everyday life with their friends, and it has nothing to do with it, you know? I was so disconnected when I was in school. I was one of those kids that would read the textbook one weekend, and the next day I'd show up to class, and then now what? Right? I wasn't alone. I felt alone, but I know each one of you have experienced something like that. The first complaint that I get from gifted children is that adults ignore